pandemic. Breaking connections to the world. Empowering language on humanity. Let's bring the world of learning in one channel. Welcome to Business Combinations English TV.
Hello Philippines! Good morning Nasibu! And again, welcome to DCBS MNHS English TV Grade 9 edition. So for your week 3 for quarter 4, here is your lesson. According to your most essential learning competencies, we have to judge the relevance and worth of ideas, soundness of others' reasoning, and the effectiveness of the presentation. For your lesson 3, the lesson is argument and opinion for discussion of ideas. But first, we have the objectives of the lesson. Identify the two types of exchanging an ideas, evaluate the value of statements based on its worth and the ideas being presented, interpret the information through listening, and supply correct answers to given exercises after. There you go! Let's go! Exchanging ideas is a part of everyday life as one socially mingles with others. Thus, we make arguments on a regular basis. This does not refer to quarreling or causing conflicts with others, but the act of communicating one's perspective and point of view to others, opening up opportunities for the discussion of ideas. Usually noted as synonymous, argument and opinion are actually two different notions. While an opinion is a personal claim that does not necessarily require support and certain qualities, an argument, on the other hand, is a claim that needs to be worth making, valid, sound, logical, and must be provided with reasonable, relevant, and sufficient support.
Let us listen and observe for this conversation. Social media platforms are highly disadvantageous. I believe otherwise. Social media platforms bring a lot of benefits because it makes communication and information dissemination a lot easier. Which statement do you think is an example of an opinion, and which is an argument? If you have chosen the girl's statement as an opinion, you are right. It is an opinion, as the girl has simply stated her notion on social media platforms. On the other hand, the boy also expressed his notion on social media platforms, only that he has a certain reasons why he believes so, making it an argument. An argument tries to convince us that something is true. Keep in mind that an argument to be considered, one has to consist of first, conclusion, and second, premise. The conclusion is the idea we are convinced to believe, and premise is the support or reason showing that the conclusion is true. An argument may be supported with more than one premise. In the boy's dialogue, because is used as a premise indicator. The presence of this word easily leads us to identifying the reason supporting the boy's conclusion. The conclusion is, social media platforms bring a lot of benefits. And the premise, because it makes communication and information dissemination a lot easier. The conclusion indicators, therefore, hence, implies that, it follows that, so, thus, consequently. And the premise indicators are since, for, given that, for the reason that, because, as, is shown by the fact that. Now, the best kind of argument is one that is not just valid, but also sound. It is valid if the premise logically supports the conclusion. It is sound if the argument is valid and if the premise and conclusion altogether can be verified true. You may have already heard of logical fallacies. They threaten the soundness of your argument. Fallacies are considered errors in reasoning. In speaking and writing, it may repeated accidentally, causing faults in the argument, or intentionally to trick readers or audience into believing the speaker's or writer's argument. Either way, you should avoid committing them in order to form sound arguments. Remember, arguments formed using fallacies may be valid, but they are not sound.
And now, here are the examples of the logical fallacies. The first one is the hasty generalization. It is making assumptions about a full group or range of cases based on an example that is inadequate or not enough. Remember, do not make a claim and say it is true if only based on just an evidence or two. Examples. Number 1. Librarians are quiet people and disciplinarians. This is an example of stereotyping or overgeneralization. Number 2. My roommate said her philosophy class was hard and the one I'm in is hard too. I warn you, all philosophy classes are hard. Two people's experiences are, in this case, not enough to base a conclusion. And the second one is the post hoc, stressing that two events or concepts are related in the sense that one causes another. They actually do not assume the cause and effect relationship between two concepts or events without considering other factors. Example, it was cloudy this morning, so Sarah did a sand dance, and it did not rain. The sand dance may not have been the reason for the rain not coming. The third one is the slippery slope, claiming a sort of chain reaction will take place, usually ending in some dire consequence, but they're really not enough. Remember, slippery slope do not slide all the way or exaggerate in picturing the consequences attributed to a particular event. Example, animal experimentation reduces our respect for life. If we do not respect life, we are likely to be more and more tolerant of violent acts like war and murder. Soon, our society will become a battlefield in which everyone constantly fears for their lives. It will be the end of civilization. To prevent this terrible consequence, we should make animal experimentation illegal right now. And the fourth one is the appeal to authority, referring to a known personalities to back up a claim, but aren't really expert, particularly in line with the issue at the hand instead of citing evidences. Remember, do not impress readers with a famous name or a supposed authority who really does not have an expertise on the matter being discussed. Example, number 1. We should abolish death penalty because many respected people such as an actor Guy Handsome have publicly stated their opposition to it. While Guy Handsome may be an authority on matters having to do with acting, there is no particular reason why anyone should be moved by his political opinions. He is probably no more of an authority on the death penalty than the person writing the paper.
Are you ready, grade 9 learners? Let us start with the learning task 1. Identify whether the statement is an opinion or an argument. In your pad paper, copy the table below and write the sentences indicating opinion on the first column and sentences indicating argument here on the second column. Number 1. Writing an essay is laborious. 2. Traveling is an interesting experience since it is an opportunity to widen one's horizons by meeting other people and emerging in other cultures. Number 3. Answering modules is a fruitful learning experience. Number 4. Attending online classes is enjoyable because you get to virtually interact with your classmates and teachers. artist's performance is commendable since there is precision in his every move. Number 8. Hiking is an enjoyable activity. Number 9. Keeping a journal is ideal as it helps me document moments in life worth remembering. And number 10. That actress has been brilliant since her beginnings in the industry. There we have learning task 2. Identify the type of fallacy of the given statements. Write only the letter of the correct answer in your paper. Letter A. Hasty generalization. B. Post hoc. Letter C. Slippery slope. And D. Appeal to authority. Number 1. Catherine's little sister was playing with building blocks. When Catherine passed by, she happened to sneeze and the blocks tumbled down. Her sister came running to their mom crying, telling that her sister ruined the palace she was trying to build. Number 2. If I failed in English 101, I won't be able to graduate. If I don't graduate, I probably won't be able to get a good job. And I may very well end up being jobless for the rest of my life. Number 3. The local literary artist is a Nobel Prize winner. His opinion on the renovation of the Old Town Library cannot be disregarded. Number 4. Sheila is on a vacation and decided to visit another country. Upon arriving at the airport, she tried asking a local about directions on going to her accommodation. The man ignored her. She was convinced that the locals there are a snob to other nationalities. Number 5. My grandmother doesn't know how to use a laptop. On the other hand, my grandfather doesn't use the family computer unless I am there to assist him. Old people are not computer literate. Number 6. Mia's older brother failed to graduate last semester because he got addicted to mobile gaming. Therefore, their parents strictly limited Mia's use of gadgets and even refrained from buying her a cell phone on her birthday in the fear that she will become like her older brother. Number 7. If parents would go abroad to work, their children wouldn't be guided well. They are going to make decisions without close parental advice or consent. Consistently doing so would make their lives go astray. Number 8. Our basketball team had been a losing streak. Ever since I wore the new shoes my dad has given me, we started winning every game we participated in. They are my lucky shoes. 9. I woke up with my stomach aching and noticed it's colder than any other morning. The drop in temperature might have caused my stomach ache. And last, number 10. If I ate chocolate today, I would eat one again tomorrow. I would probably allow myself to eat chocolate the next days. Then, I would crave for more sweets like cookies and cake and won't be able to stop myself. My diet would be ruined. I'll get obese in a matter of days.
For your learning task number 3, here is the thing that you are going to do. The picture portrays a lot of scenarios relevant to the issue of climate change. In your pad paper, write down 4 arguments related to the said environmental concern. Make sure that your argument consists of conclusion and at least one premise. Use conclusion indicators or premise indicators in writing your sentences. And for your assessment, here is the thing that you are going to do. You may do this for 20 minutes or less. Read the sentences carefully and determine whether the statement is true or false. On the blanks, write yes if the statement is true and no if it is false. Number 1. The premise is the idea we are convinced to believe, while conclusion is the support or reason showing that the premise is true. Number 2. There is no difference between an argument and an opinion. Number 3. Hasty generalization is a fallacy committed when making assumptions about the whole group or range of cases based on a sample that is inadequate or not enough. Number 4. examples of premise indicators are therefore, hence, and thus. And number 5, not all valid arguments are sound. There you go, dear learners. Reflect on what you have learned on this lesson about listening by completing the statements below. You have to complete this. I realize that. For number 2, I need to learn more about what? And number 3, I still need to help my teacher in. Thank you for listening, dear learners, and happy learning. And make sure that you have answered all your learning tasks in your module before you submit it to all possible learning hubs of DCBEST MNHS. Then, see you on our next learning session. Stay safe!